It says I'm live. It says I'm live. Oh, we've got 12 people watching already. Pint of gin and tonic to get started. The time's jumping around all over the place. Well, I'm hoping that you can hear me because it's really windy. I'm out in the conservatory, so I've gone for a little clip on mic. Hopefully that's working. Oh dear. Honestly, the last 10 minutes I've been so nervous. I feel like I'm about to go live on BBC or something like that. Even I can hear you. Excellent. Is the quality good? Is it echoey? Obviously, you can hear my voice. There's not much I can do about that. I can hear you. Hello from New Zealand. Oh, got a bunch of questions already. Oh, Dom Roberts is in the chat. Oh, excellent. Oh, this is good. Oh, we've got 12 people watching. All good. Quality-wise, volume-wise, I've got the loads and loads and loads of lights out. I came in here and tested it last night, and then I realised it's actually because these little laptop cameras are like really small cameras. They don't let a lot of light in, and it was it was so dark in here. So I put up one light, and then I put up another light, and I've got a floodlight up there. I've got another light right in front of me, and then that was like so bright. I had to put a sheet of paper in front of it just to like dull it down, give it a bit of a, was it a diffuser, I think they call it. Oh dear, phone's going off. Oh, your countdown. Oh, I got a message from Instagram saying my countdown's gone to 0. Yeah, I know. Thank you very much indeed. Well, I hope you're all good. Thank you for joining my first ever live. Honestly, I tried to leave getting ready to the last minute, but you don't want to leave it to the last minute because then nothing's ready and then you're panicking. But if you start getting ready too early, then the last like half an hour is like you're just itching to get on. I feel like I'm about to like go live on Channel 4 or something. Oh, it sounds all good. Excellent, excellent, excellent. So let's get straight into the questions. Don Roberts, 2-car garage challenge, budget 40 grand. Oh, there's a lot of parameters going on here. You need 2 cars, 1 pre-2000 family car, 1 track road trip car. I'll be honest, my mind's gone completely blank. 40 grand, some sort of estate car for a family car. Oh, do you know what? My mind's gone completely blank. One of the guys on my drive out a couple of weeks ago had an Alpha 159 estate. That looked really cool, and that's pretty rapid. That'd leave me way too much money to spend on a track car. Probably your McGann is pretty good for a road trip track car. Good on the motorway, good to get into tracks and stuff. 40 grand. Oh dear. I might have to come back to that one. What car would you really, really want to drive? What car do I really, really want to drive? So I'm just going to take my socks off, shoes off even, because I thought I was going to be too cold in here because I'm in the conservatory. But say again, babe? It's a bit what? It's a bit personal. Take my shoes off. I thought I was going to be too cold in here because I'm in the conservatory, but actually now I've gone live, I'm actually feeling quite warm. Also, this is helping. Excuse the voice as well. I've had a cold. I had a cold at like end of November, beginning of December, and I just can't get rid of it. It's so annoying. I've got a Christmas tree in the background as well. For anyone asking, that is the Christmas tree off the MX-5. So that has been wind tested up to. It's been wind tested up to 80 miles an hour, but lying down. Sorry, 70 miles an hour. It's been wind tested, but it's at 40 miles an hour, it was kind of going mad, and then at 50, it kind of fell over backwards. So once we got to the first meet, I then lay it forwards, and even lying forwards, it was going a bit mad. Let's get into these questions. One car you really, really want to drive. I want to say like M3 Touring, but now I've spoken to Joe and a couple of other people. They says exactly the same as the M3 Saloon, which is mega. Cars that I want to drive, I'll be honest, they're probably cars that I've already driven. E63 is pretty mega from the SCC private members tour. Really enjoyed that, and V8 noises as well. Love V8 noises. 992 GT3. I'm doing a little road trip next week actually. I won't say too much, but I'm going to be behind the wheel of a brand new 992 Turbo S. So I'm really looking forward to that. So that 992 Turbo S. Favorite track? Oh, Dom's hitting me with lots of questions. Favorite track? My favorite track that I've ever driven, probably Spa. My favorite track in the UK is either Goodwood, but I feel like I've done too many laps around it now. But I'm always learning stuff. Like I did a track day a few weeks ago on the Marshall's Club track day in my MX-5, and that again, learning new stuff. I was on terrible tyres, floaty standard MX-5 suspension. It was all over the place, but I was keeping up with most stuff, and I think I had 4 different tyres. I know the 2 tyres on the back were like land sails or something, which pretty much accurately describes the handling. And then I think front right was a Continental, but that was about 10 years old. So like left-hand corners, the front, it just washed. The front right was so dried out, it had no grip at all. And then front left was something, I think it had racing in the title. City Racing, that's what it was called. It was terrible. But yeah, so good. Again, the same with any tracks. The more you go there, the more stuff you learn. I really like Bedford. Lots of places to fall off. Although I did go there with about 5 or 6 mates, again, about a month ago, and I was the only one that fell off. Although last time I went there, I fell off twice. So I had one in the bag anyway. And that was my Civic, and I was sliding around in that as well. That was really, really good fun. So yeah, Goodwood, Alton Park is good. Bedford, there's so many good tracks. Excuse me, Ferrari or Lamborghini? I'll be honest, I'm a bit of a Lambo man. Ferrari's a mega. I think not one of the first Ferraris I ever drove, because I was at Mithil Racing for a while, and I drove all their ones: 308, 328, 348, 355, 360. Drove Super Gav's 812 super fast. That was all straight pipes as well. God bless Gav. Mate, he gets a car and then he's just like, nah, it's just standards. Let's turn it up to 11 and like to make it like the best it could be. And it was awesome. But just Lambo stuff, I can't believe that I ended up driving. My mate Jana, big thanks to you, drove his Lambo for 2 weeks this summer while he went on holiday. He was just like, yeah, it's just going to sit on the driveway, just drive it around. So still probably that. I'd have to do something with the seat because I can't get low enough and the seat doesn't come back. What I don't understand with the Huracan is that it's the same platform as the R8 Spider. And I drove my buddy Chris's R8. That was so awesome as well. Up a mountain in Portugal on the PetrolheadTours. And I got perfectly comfortable in the seat in the R8, but in the Huracan, I can't get low enough and I can't get the seat back enough. Surely it must be on the same bit on the platform. The only thing I don't know is if behind the seat, maybe that's got like more bulkhead or more padding and the seat doesn't go back far enough. After the Huracan, I jumped in somebody else's R8 thinking, oh, maybe the footwell intrusion on the Huracan is more. It's not. It's the same as on the R8 and the Huracan. So I don't know what's going on there. The other thing is quite a big thing as well. On the Huracan, the windscreen's kind of like that, and on the R8, it's like that. Because on the SCC Tour, there was 2 literally parked right next to each other, and you can tell it's really, really obvious that the R8 windscreen is much higher. Which then obviously when you're sitting in it, you don't feel like you need to go down as much because the windscreen's higher. So, wow, that was a lot of rambling on about. So yeah, Lamborghini is the answer to that. Hello from New Zealand. Hello. Bryce, man, even I can hear you. Yeah, I'll quickly flick through all these earlier. Ian, stay straight. Hey, Phil, how are we doing? I quickly jumped on the chat and I saw you put some questions up earlier and then they've disappeared. So you're going to have to write them again and I can't remember what they are either. Peter Curtin, hello, Rick. Good Christmas. Yes, mate, very good Christmas. Thank you very much indeed. Darren Parry, sound audio are good. Thank you. Simo Cars, hello, mate. Hope you're well. Favourite car driven and where? That is a good question. Favorite car driven and where? The trouble is, are they two different things? I've driven some of my favorite cars in like not so much the favorite like places, but then I've driven some mega. Like again, I'll go back to what I said a minute ago. That R8 Spider up the Serra d'Estrella in Port. I mean, that's got to be it, really. Like that, the whole scenario, because not only was it an R8 Spider, which is awesome, roof down, I had the owner next to me going, yeah, go on, you can ring it out, you know, give it some more beans. And to the point where I bounced off the rev limiter a couple of times, and he was just like, yeah, I told you you're going to do that. You can't, when it gets really revving, you can't hear it, especially with the wind down at good speeds. And the Serra d'Estrella road, oh my days! Everyone needs to get on a PetrolheadTours and do the Spain trip and go up the Serra d'Estrella. That road, not only is it a mega bit of tarmac, it's a really wide bit of tarmac. You've got the bit of road, which is really good quality tarmac, and then the other side of the white lines, there's also like a bit of a buffer, so you can kind of cut corners a little bit as well. Occasionally, you have to watch out for goat poo, but there's not a lot of it. There's no traffic. And as you start winding up, probably the last, I'm going to say like 15, 20 minutes, you can literally see like 30, 40 miles in both directions. And it is just fantastic. And being in the Spider as well, I did it the previous year with Captain Andy in his Porsche Boxster. And as you go up, you can feel it start to get slightly colder as you start going up the mountain, which is just awesome. And then the noise of that R8 as well. So I'm going to say, oh, steady, nearly not mentioned. So I'm going to say favourite car driven and where. The whole scenario of the R8 Spider up the Serra d'Estrella, because the first time I went up the Serra d'Estrella on my first ever PetrolheadTours with Super Gav in the 812, I've just dreamt about getting back there and going up that mountain, because it's just it's just awesome. It's just absolutely awesome. But yeah, do that. All right, what's your favourite driving road and what car would you choose to drive in? I think I just very long-windedly just did that answer. Happy Christmas. What road trips are you planning? Dan Rowe, what trips are you planning in 2024? I've got a road trip next week with my buddy. Probably shouldn't say too much. I'm going to say it anyway. Exclusive. I've had a couple of mouthfuls of gin now. I might have had a little tip a minute ago. Becky, favourite Christmas present? Oh, well done. She's gone upstairs. She listens to me. Where were we? What's your favourite driving road and what car? I know I've done that already. Oh, no. Oh, sorry. What road trips are you planning in 2024? So, yeah, my buddy Aaron has just bought a 992 Turbo S and he needs to run it in. So we are doing Land's End to John O'Groats next week. So I'm super looking forward to that. So keep your eye on the Instagram and the YouTube video coming, obviously. But yeah, a little bit more, a bit of interaction as well going on there. Oh, it's all. I'm at the top of my thing. I've had to scroll back up. Maybe I'm going too slowly. What's Razor? Hi, mate. I'm thinking of a question. Well done, Becky. Favorite Christmas present? So I've got two favorite Christmas presents. One is Becky brought me a thing of, it looks like it's a bottle of oil, but it's Italian gin. So I might even pour a little bit in the Mazda, see if it goes any faster. And hand on heart, my favourite Christmas present is that my boy got some bike lights for his bike. And I chose them off Amazon and they were 15 quid and they had amazing reviews. And when they turned out, they were even better than I thought they were going to be. So my Christmas present is knowing that my boy is out on his push bike safe. Let me just go down a tiny bit with that. And because my bugbear is people driving around, I've said it before on my Instagram a bunch of times, my biggest bugbear is people cycling around in the dusk, or worse still, the dark, in dark clothing with no lights on. Are you trying to get yourself killed? And joggers as well. I passed one today. It's like really like thin, like jogger girl, all dressed in black with headphones on with her back to the traffic. You've got like drizzle coming down and we'll like steamed up in the van. You're going to get taken out. Put some bright clothes on. I always say it's not a fashion parade in the graveyard. I say anyway. I've gone off on tangent already, but yeah, basically I've got these lights turned up. They're USB-C rechargeable and they're really bright and they're really easy to put on and they're really good quality and everything. And they're like 15 quid or something like that. They are brilliant, to the point where I might even actually do like a YouTube review on a quick, like showing what they're like and to put a link in the description and go and buy these lights, because like, just be safe out there. It's like, come on. So yeah, favorite Christmas present. I'm all good, thanks. Simo, what PetrolheadTours are you doing next year? Well, if I win the lottery, I'm going to do them all. Pete doesn't know this, but I will speak to Pete and make sure he's got space. If not, I'll just like stow away in someone's boot. At the moment, I'm doing the Alps with David North. A bit in the Caterham, but I'm definitely doing the Alps, and potentially another one, but stay tuned. Excuse me, you can probably really hear my if any hopefully this is going to work for the entire. I've got these road bike things. It's really good. They like close proximity mics, and I'm in the conservatory and it is blowing an absolute hoolie outside. So like I feel like the roof may or may not come off the conservatory. If not, then if it does, then see what happens. For you, massive power but heavy, or lightweight, lightweight, less power. The irony is that I'm not lightweight or less power, but I'd mainly because I haven't got any money. So running a light car with less power means less brakes, less fuel, less tires. But I just find that it's just, I've nearly done it again. I keep using my hands and I'm nearly knocking my gin over. Let's have another sip. But for me, and Joe did it on, Joe Achilles did a live stream last night and he mentioned it as well because he was saying about EVs getting massive and I agree with him, how it's saving the planet, getting rid of your perfectly good car and then going and buying a 3-ton EV full of batteries. I'd much rather keep my old, I've got two, one's 20 years old, one's nearly 30 years old. They weigh just over a ton. They're about 140, 50 horsepower. And they're just so much fun to drive. Yeah, you got to tweak them every now and again, weld them up. But they're good on fuel. Tires, brakes are cheap. They don't get through tires and brakes and all that sort of stuff. Like, do I have loads of fun in bigger stuff? Of course. I still go back to the M3. I had that for a week and I properly give it the beans. It's really nice borrowing a press car other than instead of somebody's personal car, because then you can give it the full beans, kind of a little bit less guilty. I know what I mean. But yeah, driving somebody's personal car, you obviously don't want to give it the full whack. But yeah, being able to drive a press car, that M3 was absolutely awesome. But arguably, probably too quick. Like in the pouring rain, you can come out of corners going about the speed limit, around the corners about the speed limit. It's a bit sketchy, but yeah, less power, less weight. Oh, it's gone down again. Hang on. My worry is that I'll rattle through the questions and then I'll get to the bottom and then I'm sitting there twiddling my thumbs. Here's a question for me. Do you prefer driving your Civic or your MX-5, or are they as good as each other in different ways? That's a very good question. Oh, mate, that's like, I've had my Civic a long time, and I do still really enjoy it, but almost sometimes I feel like I've had it too long, and then not I get bored of it, but it's a bit too familiar, which is why I've really enjoyed getting the MX-5. Although I only had it for a month, and then I found a whole load of rust, and it was off the road for like 3 months. At which point I was like, I'm just going to get rid of it. But actually, it's really good fun. I got it because I wanted something rear-wheel drive and convertible. Having always gone, I don't really want anything convertible in the UK because what's the point? It's always raining. But what I've learned is actually you can have a convertible, but it's got to be really quick and easy to put the roof up. And I can do the MX-5 roof up or down in about 5 seconds from the driver's seat. And it's rear-wheel drive, and it's got a big boot, and it's really easy to chuck around, and it was cheap, and it's good on fuel. So I enjoy them both in their own right. I still prefer the Civic on track. Also, because it's front-wheel drive, you almost feel a little bit indestructible, because if it all goes wrong, you just put the power down. But the MX-5, the track day I did it good with the MX-5 was really good fun. Definitely wasn't doing third gear clutch kicks around for Levant and doing some skids, but it was it was mega. Both, but it's like saying which is a favourite child, which I could also answer. No, I'm only joking. Hi, Rick, happy Christmas. I'll be interested in a track battle comparison between your Civic and my Swift, if you're up for it sometime. See you at Molly's at Petrol. Oh, Scala 598. Is that you, Sean? I'm assuming it is if it's your Swift. Civic Swift track battle. The trouble is, all I've done to my Civic is put some secondhand coilovers in it and put some hot pads in the front. You've done a lot of work on your Swift, all the bushes and all the alignment and everything, but I'm willing to take a brave pill. And if you come to Goodwood, maybe I might have a chance. But I can't remember where you are. But yeah, we'll sort that out. And yeah, Molly's at the PetrolheadTours meet in the new year. Yeah, looking forward to the PetrolheadTours meet in the new year. I'd love meeting up with the PetrolheadTours guys. It's like a little family, honestly. I love it. I'm sorry, I mentioned Petrolhead. This chat is not, this live stream is not sponsored by PetrolheadTours, but honestly, it's such a mega part of my life. It's just, I love it. I love them. Absolutely agree with the cyclist fee. Exactly. To put some lights on, like put high vis on, put some, my jacket that I've got is like a bright orange one. I was chatting to my friend Tara, who works for work for a cycling company. She said 80 or 90% of all the cycling clothing is black or dark. You know, like, why? I mean, yeah, you look cool, but you won't do once you've been fired up the road. Can you start a campaign to fix the state of the UK roads, please, mate? Maybe the other YouTube apps can help too. Ian Jones. Yeah, honestly, like, I did a quick Instagram thing today while I was driving around doing my spuds, because literally people at the last minute are swerving around potholes onto my side of the road, but I'm there. It's like you can't use my bit of the road when I'm on it, so then I'm nearly like firing into the hedge. But also people are driving around the puddles, because sometimes in the puddles is like a foot deep crater. So, but yeah, like, you know, you can get a tax rebate. Like if you're self-employed, I wonder if you can get a car tax rebate, because I feel like they're not spending it on the roads. Dom Roberts. Oh, I meant to get a mouse. That's what I should have done. I'm using a touchpad. Porsche or McLaren? Porsche. I mean, that's not that's not a question. But Porsche do so many good. Porsche and McLaren, they both do loads and loads of mega cars. I feel like a lot of the McLarens, I'm going to say a lot of the McLarens look the same. All the 911s look the same. But the McLarens are mega. My good buddy Matt let me drive his one at Bedford. I went to go and see him, went out for a lap, and then he went, "Oh, do you want to drive it?" I was like, "Yeah, okay." And then when we came in for lunch, or just before lunch, he went, "Oh, that geezer over there's been pestering me for a passenger ride. Do you want to take him out? I'm going to go and get a coffee." So I ended up doing passenger rides in his McLaren. It is brilliant. But I must know probably nearly 10 McLaren owners now, and about 8 of them all say the same thing. Mega cars, when they're working, they're often not, and the dealers are terrible. I think because the cars are always going back, and I think they just have a gutful of it. To build your cars properly, I don't know what to say. Although I've had a mate recently that he's had a load of trouble with his Porsche, so I maybe shouldn't say too much. But and they never like broken down, but there's always like some sort of warning light on. There's like some sort of like yeah, it's like a tire pressure warning, or it says return to McLaren service centre for some reason, or whatever. But they're both mega cars. But for me, there's nothing like to being in a Porsche, and I just love it. Like, I can't remember the last Porsche I drove. I got a feeling it was Tom's 992 GT3 in Spain for the whole day. I'd literally never seen a GT3 before, and then we got to Spain, and there's two, one PDK, one manual, and then yeah, ended up riding with both of them, and then of Tom and oh my days, got a mind blank. You know, no. Oh, I'm so sorry if you're watching this. I've totally forgot your name. I'm so good. I always tell people when I'm like instructing and stuff, I'll recognise your face. I'll see your face like for a split second and hear your name. I think it's because I'm a visual person, but I'd see them in a year's time, recognise their face straight away, see them in an hour's time or 5 minutes time, and just forgotten their name. I'm so bad. It'll come to me in a minute. But he had the GT3 manual, which is brilliant. But the PDK box is so good. The manual box is really good, but the PDK box is so good. But the trouble with something like a GT3, because all the power don't really do anything until about 5,000 revs. So you've got to keep it in that sweet spot all the time. And if you were maybe on a track or something like that, and you were constantly on the boil, you would concentrate on being in the right gear. But when you're doing like a road trip or something like that, I found a couple of times with driving Tom's GT3 that you'd like someone to go, oh yeah, we're clear to overtake, and I'd drop down like one gear and then pull out and put my foot down, but actually I needed to drop like 2 or 3, which in the PDK, so you'd like put your foot down, you're like burr, oh no, burr, 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 and you'd like start ringing it out. Whereas in the manual, if you do that, you then got to dip the clutch, and as soon as you dip the clutch, you're not accelerating. So but yeah, if you hadn't noticed, I quite like Porsches. Maybe a massive car meet protest. The trouble is they don't care, do they? Like the amount of people that I've seen put claims in for, this is going back to the pothole thing, the amount of people that have put in for claims for busted wheels, busted tyres, and I don't really know of anyone who's got any money out of them. I know Joe Achilles, he done 2 wheels of those really posh Edelweiss, whatever they're called, wheels, and I don't think he got any money back for them. And all they do in their defence is say, oh yeah, well it's got like a white paint around it, therefore we knew about it, therefore you should have seen it, therefore you should know about it, therefore you should have driven around it. And if it's a local road to you, they go, oh well it's been there for ages, you should have driven around it. So yeah, let's do a protest on the state of the roads. Save the old cars, don't buy new if you don't have to. I mean, especially if you can't afford to. But yeah, save the old cars, don't buy new if you don't have to. Dom, would you organise your own road trip to the Nürburgring? Yeah, I'd organise a road trip to the Nürburgring. If I could somehow cover my own expenses, that'd be really cool. Oh, Joe Achilles, UK roads are W. Yeah, they are. They are indeed, mate. Good to see you on here. Let's just quickly come back up. Seems familiar. Coming out of a corner in an M3. Yeah, exactly. Honestly, that the 4-wheel drive system. I'd love to go for an M3 and get one of the early G80s, but rear-wheel drive. However, having calibrated what the X-Drive is capable of in, I think they call it MDM Sport or 4-wheel drive Sport or something. So it puts like, I think it's like a 70-30 split anyway. And then when you put it in 4-wheel drive Sport, it's like an 80-20 or a 90-10. So the front wheels are still doing a bit. And you can go, obviously this is on closed private roads near Mexico, but you can come sideways out of a corner. And normally in a rear wheel drive, you then got to start like lifting off the gas because it's just going to over rotate. But the front is still clawing you up the road, and you can come out of some corners like fairly, like with a decent bit of angle on, but some speed as well. They just pull like a train. Like, can you tell I quite like an M3? Taking family and friends out in press cars or going for a bike ride with your dog. That was it. As much as I love going out for a bike ride with my dog, I actually prefer going out for a bike ride on my own, because the reason the last month or so I've been going out for a bike ride with my dog is because the dog needs a walk, but I've got no lung capacity at the moment with this throat and cough and whatever's going on. Sorry, my mic's pulling my t-shirt down. So it says Merry Spudmas, by the way. I've got my Merry Spudmas t-shirt on. My missus bought that for me last year, I think, year before. And yes, I've got no lung capacity, but dog still needs a walk. And I've done something to my knee. It's always been a bit like janky. Is that even a word? It's a word that my boy says. He's trying to keep me like street and down with the kids. Sorry, that was terrible. That's better. So I don't know why I did that. Because of that. So yeah, I've got to take the dog out for a walk, and then I can walk it much farther. Oh my days, it's going downhill. Much further if I'm on my bike, and then my knee like still clicking, but it's not getting like what's it. So love taking the dog out. Prefer bike ride on my own, like cycling through the floods. Hopefully you've all seen my YouTube video of me and Dom cycling through the floods. That actually done really well. It's probably one of my better performing videos actually in the last 6 months. I think because people are just searching floods in Bognor. Ads will run shortly for some viewers. Skip ads, go away, because everyone's just going to disappear. I'm only going to get like 37p from this like video once it goes out anyway, so there's no point. I absolutely love doing passenger rides. I almost prefer going around, for example, a track or something like that with other people in the car, because it's nice to enjoy it yourself, but I'd much rather like share the experience. So yeah, I always say to people, if you see me, I'm doing a track day, come up, jump in. I don't care who you are. As long as you've signed in and got a helmet, whatever, I'll take anyone out. Just get people out on the track, share the experience. It's a bit boring going around on your own, isn't it? Plus, got someone to talk to. Yes, it is. Good evening, Rick. Joe, UK Razor. Yeah. Which GT3 do you prefer, the PDK or the manual? I've just covered this in great detail. Or on the road, GT3 or GT4. Oh man, that's like to quickly summarise: PDK manual, PDK. Everyone goes save the manuals, yes, but depending on what car. So I think certain cars are suited to manuals. For example, my rubbish little MX-5, I love smashing up and down the gears in that. Whereas, as good as a Porsche manual box is, the PDK is so good. And when you're driving it, it just feels like a Le Mans car. It's absolutely amazing. So it's PDK, GT3 or GT4. If I had to run it personally, GT4, because it's a bit smaller. Excuse me. A GT3 is more like a supercar, and a GT4 is more like a hot hatch. Does that make sense? So GT4 on the road feels a lot smaller. And I went out for a couple of weeks ago. My buddy Paul's just got a GT4 RS, which has got a GT3 engine. So that's like the best of both worlds. And that thing absolutely rips. We also went out and it was like -1, and we were just like wheel spinning and traction control was going mad. So GT4 for the road, probably. But I think the GT3 is the better car. But if I had to run one, if I had to buy one and run one, probably the GT4. But either, yeah, it's a pain of a process to claim. Well, exactly, because I don't want you to claim. I'm fortunate I've not had to experience this yet. I've had to put a tyre on the van, and I've had to put a tyre on something else. Thankfully, not a wheel. But yeah, they just burst. And literally, this one was like a foot deep. And I put a claim in, and they must have got the letter like 3-4 days later. And the next time I drove up there, it had about 5-6 days later, it had like a white thing around it. And then they messaged me and said, "Oh, it's got a white thing around it." And I was just like, "Oh yeah, that old chestnut. Well done on the stream so far. I'm sure that gin is kicking in." It is. That's why it's. I'm getting a bit of rambly. Oh dear, lots and lots of questions coming in. It suddenly dawned on me, and I've got for like a few people watching, and I've got loads and loads and loads of questions. Mary Spud must love that. No worries. I'm looking for a newish manual car for fun/tour, 30 grand, but finding that pretty much leaves a hot hatch front wheel drive. As you have front wheel drive, rear wheel drive, would you sacrifice the manual to get a rear drive? For tour, for PetrolheadTours? Oh, Joe's literally just at the bottom. M2 comps are touching 30 grand now, unfortunately for me. Well, yeah, because your M2 comps is worth about 30p at the moment because it hasn't even got an engine in it. Mate, our M2 comps 30 grand. I'll be honest, Joe might help me on this if you're still watching, Joe. I went out on track, and Joe was there as well. We went to Wales, and I can't remember the name of the track. It's like basically a bit of a big oval, and R44 Performance were there. It's the first time I met Reese, and they had an OG M2, so that's not an M2 comp. And that, I believe, I'm going to get a bit geeky now, I think that's got an N55 instead of an S55. And I think they're better on fuel. And he didn't pay mega bucks for it. And he'd done like a stage 27 map or something on it. But also, he'd done some like big boy brakes on it and coilovers and everything. And Joe had an M2 CS, which randomly my buddy Duncan from PetrolheadTours has now bought that exact same car. And he was pushing Joe around the track, and Joe was driving the M2 CS, and Joe could drive. And Reese could drive as well, but he was in the OG M2 with a whole load of stuff on it. And was this Tim Williams in the house? He's now M55. Oh, well done, Tim. Oh, there you go. The chat's carrying on without me. Yeah, like absolute megabit kit. So I don't know how much. I don't know if someone might help me. Is an M2 now a better car to buy than M2 comp because it's better on fuel and they're that much cheaper? Are there any troubles with M55s over S55 engines? I don't know. But yeah, and the other thing was Joe was finding in the M2 CS, even though it had the big boy brakes on it, that they were so, I think he said they were so tight in the wheels, the brakes were so big, they weren't being able to cool down. So he was doing like 3-4 laps coming in with cooked brakes, and Reese in his super duper, like souped up, whatever he had, brakes on that M2 was just going out lap after lap after lap after lap. The main problem of the day is that he took Supergav out and we didn't have a camera running in the car because he came back and Reese was immediately going, we should have had a camera or Gav, because apparently the reactions and the language is very colourful. Excuse me, I'm sorry if that was really loud for everyone. Which era M3 would you most like to own? I'll be honest, I've still got a soft spot for the F80 M3, even better, the CS. Again, Supergav. Excuse me, Supergav let me drive his. I'm sure it's an F80 M3 CS around Silverstone. And my days, that car was absolutely wicked. He'd like lowered it a bit and put some spaces on it, and it was also like a, I can't remember the name of the colour, but it was some like mega like frozen blue, and that thing was just absolutely wicked. So personally, an F80, although the G80 I think is the better car, faster car. The look of that, as much as the grill, I'm getting over the grills on the G80. The F80 personally, I think it's a better looking car. Just the shape of it. Any M3 as well. You've got the great big flat arches on the back. It just looks mega. How's the YouTube monetization going? From Ian Jones. Seems like it's getting harder, even for the higher subs chats. Mate, I'm making absolute peanuts off of YouTube for the amount of time I spend filming and editing. However, the same as Pete or Joe or both said in one of their podcasts last night, if you're starting YouTube to make money, don't do it. You've got to do it because you love it. I sort of started it just into lockdown. And the opportunities that it's given me is why I carry on doing it. So if I was doing it for money, by now I would have quit a long time ago. I've been doing it 3 and a bit years now, maybe nearly 4. But the opportunities it's given me, people saying, do you want to borrow my car for a video? And do you want to come on this trip and film it and all this sort of stuff? And it's been brilliant. And the people that I've met through it, and I organised some meets, and like M3 to BMW weren't phoning me to say, do you want to borrow an M3 and drive it around for a week and power slide it in a field with some straw bales in a boot and all that sort of stuff. Admittedly, I did chase them a few times, and shout out to Joe as well if you're still here. He put in a good word for me as well. But that wouldn't have happened if I wasn't doing a YouTube video on it. The YouTube video did okay, and they said they would like to lend me some more cars, but I need to get some like bigger views and stuff. But yeah, the opportunities it's given me is amazing. Ian McWilliams, hello, sir. GT4, yeah, exactly. 2018, 2019, this is Joe. Manual M2 comps are 30 grand now. Oh no, I think I said that already. M240i. M240i's are good. My main thing with an M240i, because I think that's got a B58 in as well, which is even better on fuel, and a quick remap or something like that. And then you'll be pushing the same power as an M2, is they don't look like an M2. Like the 240s look good, and you can make them look better, but the M2s look like M2s. One thing that I've always talked about doing, not publicly, but to a bunch of mates, is I'd love for a YouTube video, and I think it'd make a mega car, is get an M2 with a blown up engine. Joe, I think I messaged him actually when he did do this on his, and put a B58 in it. I don't know if that's a straight swap. It's B58 still sound good, but 40 to the gallon instead of 20-ish. Oh, Landau. Thank you, Hugh. Yes, Landau. What a mega day. Met a lot of cool people on that Landau day as well. M55, yes. How much? Oh, it's jumped. Oh, honestly, I wish. The one thing I forgot to plug a mouse in. How much were those M2 comps new? Haven't got a clue, mate. That's one thing that I'm not clued up about, is how much new stuff is, because there's no point in me even looking, because I'm never going to afford it. I remember we did get a bit of training when BMW first sponsored Goodwood, and we got a whole fleet of BMWs. And I remember the F80 M3s were 56 grand. Does that sound right? And the M2s were like 40 something, 45. That was like 2016, 2017. That can't be. Is that right? I think it is right, unfortunately. Tim Williams and House. Tim, ears and art. Rick, we should be getting the M3 back soon after the Marshall track day. Oh yeah, brilliant. Yeah, Simo had a little bit of a falling off in his lovely E46, and it was a slightly different shape. But I'm glad you sorted it, because there was a point where you said you weren't going to. So and I said to you, sort it, and it sounds like they have sorted it. So that's good. Thanks, Joe. I'd kind of forgotten about them. How Dom the cameraman, how long you live for? How long you live for? I'm on my way to watch. Well, if you're on the chat, you're watching now, aren't you, Dom? That's Dom the cameraman. Massive shout out to Dom the cameraman. He helps me a lot. Joe, F80 M3 CS was San Marino blue. I don't. If you say so, mate. I don't know colours. If I went back and looked at my Instagram post, I think I did put it in the description. But yeah, that was a megabit kit. Randomly, I got messaged by the guy maybe 2 weeks ago who bought that car, because he found it on one of my videos. I think he watched my Silverstone video and said, "Have you got any more pictures of it?" So I sent him a whole bunch of pictures, and he said, "Did you know what had happened to it? What had been done to it? Because I think it was still lowered, and with the spacers and the wheels and stuff on it, and running a zillion horsepowers." So I said, "Yeah, I think Gav sent it to." Told you, memory blank. Evolve Automotive, and said, "Yeah, make it look wicked," and they did. Also, you should do a podcast. See, we've talked about this before. Maybe I should do a podcast. It'd certainly be a lot easier than just constantly talking myself. But yeah, I'd love to do a podcast. I absolutely loved doing I did some Spudcasts, Instagram lives during lockdown, and really, really enjoyed that. Partly because it was just chatting nonsense and chatting car stuff, which I enjoyed doing anyway. But also, we weren't allowed out. Thanks to you, Joe, Ped, Tim, etc., for your content. Help me get through lockdown, etc. No worries, Ian. I got a couple of really nice, heartfelt messages from. There's one guy in South Africa, I can't remember his name, who said that he binge watched my. So I was about to say season one, season one PetrolheadTours. My first season, my first PetrolheadTours with Supergav, 2021. Yeah, he said he binge watched that, and he watched that a couple of times, and that got him through lockdown. So that's really, really cool. Of Don Roberts' podcast, definitely. Oh, a bunch of people suggesting podcasts now. I'll be honest, I know a lot of people in the car space. So I know randomly, I was just chatting to a guy called Andrew Coley today, and he is the commentator for Nitro Rallycross, and he shares a comms box with Travis Pastrana. They're like that. Imagine that. So I can get Andrew on and then get Travis on. So guess one, Andrew Coley. Guess two, Travis Pastrana. That guy's a legend. He's just had a hip replacement and a knee replacement. He's like 41 or something. The guy's just thrown himself at the scenery for way too many years. Yeah, absolute pioneer. Oh, that's really cool. Tim Williams had a 240 M2, best looking one's the M2. Yeah, the 240s are brilliant. And again, Pete and Dan used to run their tours in 240s, and people couldn't keep up with them in the 240s. They're quick, but M2s are M2s, aren't they? They just look brilliant. Tim, not straight swap, but would be epic. Eve, I get 30, 35 on a 30-mile trip to work. 8 MPG at Bedford. Yeah, exactly. That's yeah, and that's why I think like the B58s are that much better. Not better, just better on fuel. If you can drive it every day, to B58 in it. Although randomly, I think Supergav's M3 CS that he had, which had a map on it, but I think that was an S55. And on the motorway, that was getting really, really good fuel consumption. And I don't know if that was because it was in an M3 or if it was because in M3 and it had been mapped. But that was getting really, really good fuel consumption. But I think it's the same engine that's in the M2, so I don't really know what that was about. M2 comps were about 48 new manual before discount. That's mental, isn't it? 48 for an M2, and what are they now? 60 something? That's crazy. Slightly different shape. Tim, doing a B58 swap into an E46 and that'll have a ZF8. Ah, that sounds awesome. So is that, yeah, so you're just literally just getting like a 140 engine and gearbox or 240 engine and gearbox and drop that in an E46. That'd be mega. That'd be really good. There's less and less people who can afford new cars. Prices are mentioned these days. I know PCP, monthlies, etc., but they are still based off MSRP. There's a lot of things that you've said in there that I don't understand, mate. I don't know what PCP. That's like your monthly payments. MSRP. That's like your the price that is new. I don't really know. Oh, I'm getting cold feet now. Hang on. I need to put my. I've got Crocs and socks. Hang on. I need to put my Crocs back on. Hey, bro. Happy holidays. Hey, Steve. Hello, mate. Good to see you. Raise a glass to you. I hope you're doing well, mate. I haven't seen you since Caffeine Machine. Have I seen you since then? Bicester Heritage. Saw you at Bicester Heritage. Well, I rocked up in my Lamborghini. That was mega. And then on the way back, it was absolutely pouring with rain, and there was a car that crashed. It was in Adam C's video, actually. It was about 2 cars in front of us. I think it was a really nice Aston Martin. Literally came off this roundabout, and the Aston Martin booted it and literally swapped ends all the way around and ended up in the slow lane. And I think that it was a Toyota Chaser or something in the slow lane, then pulled into it. So that was not a good day for him. What's the significance of the CS BMW models? Are they above or below the comps? The CS are above the comps in terms of price, or sort of in terms of price, but not in terms of spec, I think, because the CSs are then like a bit more lightweight. Someone jump in and tell me if I'm digging a hole for myself, but the CS, like Supercar CS, didn't have like individual like climate control. It had like just you set a temperature and it does it. That's fine. It didn't have like what do you call it? Different zone, separate ones for the passenger. I drove, I don't know if I mentioned it, drove an M3 CS, the brand new G80 one, up the hill for BMW UK at the official speed. And that was mega, but like a couple of little things that really annoy me. It didn't have like a center armrest. So obviously they're trying to strip a bit of weight out, so it didn't have an armrest. And I think it was a little bit, I think it was like 40 more horsepower, which on a 500 horsepower car, can you fill 40 horsepower? I don't know. But I'm assuming the CSs are going to hold their money more. But as far as I'm aware, they're a bit more lightweight and a bit rarer. They're lower number cars, so maybe they'll hold their money. I don't know. Excuse me. My Matt M3 is a V8 and averages 14. So if you've got an M3 V8, you've got the E92 then. 14 to the gallon. But you've got V8 noises, isn't it? So yeah, it's one of those. Tim Williams, message retracted. What have you said, mate? What have you said? Did you drop yourself in the shizer with something? Cozy, yeah, Bicester and the Lambo. Yeah, honestly, mate, I look back at the pictures of me driving that Lamborghini. How on earth did I end up driving that Lambo? Oh, mate. Dom, what's your favourite gin? Gin is my favourite gin. Tonight I'm on marmalade gin that I got for Christmas, which is all right, but it's a little bit sweet. I do apologise, I keep showing everyone my chest hair. It's a little bit sweet, but it's quite nice. I wonder if it's a gin liqueur. I put quite a lot in, but it's quite sweet. A pink gin, mate. You can't beat a pink gin. I think I never really got into gin. I've always just drunk beer, but never like you've got to drink a lot of beer for it to take effect. And I got into gins back in the day a little bit at Mithril Racing at Goodwood's. We used to have a Mithril barbecue. That's some stories for another time. But bottom line is, we basically used to get the go-karts out and then pound around the go-kart track after having a couple of drinks and cooking some food on the barbecue and whatever. Then the go-karts would go away and then we'd have a lot more drinks. But a couple of the like posher people, they were drinking gin and tonic. Gin and tonic. I have a couple of gin and tonics. They were really nice. Then got on the PetrolheadTours, then started getting in some gin and tonics on the PetrolheadTours. And then I think my biggest ever flex was I had a pink gin. I think I had one pink gin because they got like berries and stuff in and it makes them like fruity and nice. And then I got to the hotel, I can't remember where it was, but for Joe, if you're still here, he filmed me coming up the driveway in Supercab's 812 Superfast. Gave him a couple of revs and stuff like that, and it was mega. And then the bar lady came over, and I wanted another pink gin, but she didn't speak any English. So I was kind of like, I was trying to like find something red, and I pointed to the Ferrari key that was red in order to order my pink gin. I said, "You have like red, like pink gin?" She's going like red, like gin, like I was like red. She was, "Oh yeah," and then she went off and got me a pink gin. So yeah, that was a bit of a flex. But pink, I do like a pink gin. My go-to, if I haven't got anything else, is a bit of pink gin. Loads of ice, bit of orange as well, bit of lemon. Tim, when you're doing a big turbo on the Civic, I'll be honest, back in the day, I thought about doing a turbo conversion on the Civic. However, what I don't want to do, two things. I don't want it to be too powerful, because at the moment I do have to wring it out. And if I do happen to keep up with people, oh, it's just started raining. Hopefully you guys can't hear that. It's just started chucking down. I want the excuse of being able to keep up with people, because it's me and not the car. Whereas at the moment, you're like, you go, "Oh mate, I couldn't shake you." So, "Oh yeah, turbo mate, it's running like 300 brake and a limited slip diff." But at the moment, the Civic is literally totally standard. Other than I put some Integra seats in it, because the standard seats were too high, my head was touching the roof, and they got no bolster at all, so you keep falling out. So I've done some seats, done some secondhand wheels off of my mate's car, and just some Michelin Pilot Sport 3s, and BC Racing coilovers, and some PBS pads in the front. Stock calipers, stock discs, stock everything. It's honestly, mate, it's good as gold. So if there's a moment I start giving it big power, then I've got to do like either the bigger brakes and then super sticky tires and da, 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 da. So at one point I was thinking about doing a turbo conversion on the Civic. I'll be honest, I'm more likely to do a turbo conversion on the MX-5. Watch this space. Hi Rick, why do you have two Christmas trees? So that Christmas tree is actually a Christmas. There's a story behind that Christmas tree as well. Is that Christmas tree used to go on the front of my Transit van. I think 2 Christmases in a row, I cable tied it to the front grille of my Transit with all the Christmas lights on. One year it snowed as well, so it looked really cool. So it had all the snow and stuff on it, so that was really good. And that one, I just put it there just for something to have in the background. And that was on my MX-5. My missus picked that up from Argos, which is what, and it's also been on the back of my car. That's why this bit's looking a bit. It's looking a little bit lopsided. I've got a remote for it here. You can change all the different things. Whoa, that's a bit. Don't know. I'll put it back on a twinkly one. Don't want anyone to get like epilepsy or anything like that. So yeah, I've got 2 Christmas trees. Any more plans for shotgun style videos and run flats? No, but I hope you enjoyed that video. I thought that video was going to do really, really well. Topaz shared the video, I think twice, and it's done like 2,000 views or died. But I was really pleased with how it came out, and a lot of people that watched it said that they were really impressed with how it came out, and I was even more impressed with how good the PPF was. Yeah, it literally shotgun blast. Like there's obviously even up close. I don't know if you noticed in the video even the up close one where I literally shot it down the line of the PPF. I thought I'd got it slightly off to the left, which when I'm looking down the barrels at that range, at that close, you're not swaying about. It literally, you can't really get it wrong. And when I fired it, I was like, oh, it looks like it's gone a little bit off to the left. Then I watched the replay and I hit it bang on. But as the doors kind of folded in, the PPF has actually kind of deflected the blast across to the left-hand side. And the PPF never split. Now, obviously, Topaz PPF is good quality PPF. But I was super impressed with that. Yeah, it's done for 2,000 views and nothing. But it might get going. Still, I don't know. I've got a bunch of my videos that even just in the last couple of months have started to go mad. Including my mate Phil's drift truck. He go and watch it if you haven't. He's put so much work into that truck. He got a fully rotted out F100 pickup truck. Bought a crashed Nissan 370Z, bespoke made a custom chassis for it, stuck it all together. We did we'd done like a bit of a drive out kind of video, drive around video with it, but also when he was he sent all the pictures over of when he was building it, and I spent ages doing the edit. of putting all the pictures on all the bits that we were talking about and overlaid all some like old school pictures and stuff of the build. It did like 400, 500 views and then died. And then I think just in the last 6-7 months, it's done like 5,000 views. So I'm like, so yeah, and it's been up for like 2 years. So it literally did absolutely nothing, and it was getting like 3 views a day, and now it's getting like 50 views a day. I don't. It's like the algorithm. Where are we? I wish I plugged the bloody mouse in. What are we doing? Where are we? What have we got? 2 trees. Oh, it's all jumped all over the place. Any more plans? You can now pick up a new shape CSL for less than 100 grand for Tom Parsons. So do you know that because you've been looking up CSLs for the classic tour? But yeah, the new shape CSL, they oh, of course they have. They've got an M4 CSL now, haven't they? My spelling was off. That's why I retracted it. Yeah, you said something naughty, didn't you, Tim? Oh, hello. Just had a little brain melt there. Probably should have a mouthful of water as well. Hopefully I might make it to the end. How long have we been going for? 55 minutes. So of course, CS tends to have a bit more power, less weight, superior suspension, which Spurtswear doesn't improve for Spurts software. Interior usually has unique highlights too. Yeah, I think the CS is just a bit more of a special version of whatever of the comp. Randomly, a lot of people say the CS rides better on the road, which if it's a light, well, maybe because it's lighter, but I know they do different suspension, which you'd think it'd be more focused suspension, but it seems to be less. It seems to be less crashy on the road. Oh, sorry, that was Joe replying to Simo. Oh, okay, yeah, Joe's coming in with the BMW of top tier knowledge. Oh, I see. Thanks, Cozy. With the market falling out, it's proverbial. A McLaren, I think, 570S went for 40 grand last week, and I've seen Porsche selling new 911s 40 grand off book. Do you see things recovering? What bargain would you bag? Couple of things there. It was a 570 GT. I got sent this as well. Then someone put this on the Sir David with the Decatur. He put this on the group chat. He then looked at it again. Apparently, it had been crash repaired, which is why it went for pretty cheap. So it was like a Cat, whatever the new version of it is, like a Cat D. So it had I think it had 30 grand's worth of repairs and stuff on it, and then it sold for 40 something. So yeah, that was money down the drain. Yeah, Porsche selling for 40 under. So yeah, I think certain Porsches were going for like 30, 40 over, and now they're like 30, 40 under. What bargain would you bag? I've got a soft spot for a 992 GT3, if I'm honest. R8 Spider, I do like an R8 Spider. It's less show offy than the Lambo. If I could get an R8 Spider in that purple, I think that'd be pretty cool. Yeah, I quite enjoyed that shotgun video. Thanks, mate. PPF surprised me. I thought it would. I thought you would be able to tell the difference, but I couldn't believe it. And then when I peeled it back, and you could see where it hit, and I was like, oh, you can see it's left a little mark, and it was just a glue mark. So I literally just started like rubbing it with my thumb, and it just came straight off. So yeah, I was super impressed. I've got, oh dear, it's jumped. I've got a 20 long video of my dad's old Volvo doing launch controls in a Mexican industrial estate that every now and again that goes mental, so random. It's currently sat on about 15,000 views, I think. Yeah, honestly, fair play to you, though, getting your old Volvo all the way out to Mexico for doing some skids on their industrial estate. 20 seconds. I was going to say 20 minutes of skids in a Volvo. They probably put out of it, to be honest. Like some of my drift mates are literally just bouncing their car off the limiter for days. Oh, and those Lexus, man. We done a drift event. I've done 2. We did one at Rockingham before they turned it into a car park, but I think some pits are now open again. Then we went to Birmingham Wheels with Learn to Drift. They bought some Lexus IS200s, and they're literally just bouncing off the limiter in like first gear, and they just put up with it all day. They used to run a whole load of, I think, old E36s, 46s, and they said a couple of them, and they said they always needed like repairs and stuff doing to them, and they were always going bang. Oh, skip ads. Yeah, skip ads. My worry is that if people get ads up, they're going to disappear and they're going to come back. What are we up to? 24 people. Well, thank you very much. I hope I'm keeping you entertained, or you're that bored, or you're trying to go to sleep. It's a bit early for bed, so. What was I saying? Yeah, they used to run E36s, E46s until like mid-event. I think one of like a couple of 2 or 3 cars had gone down, and one of the guys had just bought an IS 200, and I think he'd like put a hydro in it or something, so it was like half ready for skids. And they went, "Oh, if it like we'll pay you in fuel or pay you for tires," and he was just like, "Mate, skid it. I don't care." And they literally did the whole event. And the car was happy as Larry. And then at the time, I think IS 200 was like 500 quid, and they bought a whole stack of them. They're the same with anything. People get older stuff that's fairly reliable or a little bit sought after, and then prices go through the roof. So they're like 2-3 grand now, I think. But yeah, they got a bunch of these IS 200s, and all they've done is weld the diffs, put hydro in, no steering mods or anything like that. And they've, I think he said they took the thermostats out, so that the water's circling like through. They're not waiting for thermostats to like open and stuff. So they're running cool all the time. And I think they take the lambda sensor out, so it's slightly over fueling, which then means it runs a bit cooler. But they're literally just smashing these things off the limit, and I was as well. Done I think one vid I did on the Learn to Drift thing at Birmingham. Going to watch. Honestly, there's no better feeling than pitching in. Hydro, obviously dip clutch first, hydro, and then just let go of the wheel, and then the wheels just going, and then you're out. Honestly, it's just I want to go back and do some skids right now. Hey buddy, total believer in PPF. 190 GTS survived a week driving in the Alps and came back totally unmarked, although maybe going to consider PPF for the windscreen, as cracked it on the trip. Oh, G-Man, hello mate. Yeah, I've heard mixed reviews on PPF for the windscreen, but it's one of those, isn't it? You go on a PetrolheadTours, there's a high chance you'll end up doing a windscreen. I remember, what was I driving? I think it was Chris's R8 Spider. That thing has been, I think it's done 50,000 miles of PetrolheadTours trips. And driving up the Serra del Estrella, every time the sun came through the windscreen, it looked like that had been like blasted with a shotgun. It just had tiny chips across the entire windscreen. Now I'm guessing if that was PPF, you wouldn't get that. I've heard that you can get you can machine polish and take off a very fine layer of paint. I've heard you can machine polish and take off a very fine layer of glass. And I guess if you had PPF, then you wouldn't get those chips in. But my worry was then, I think it's a different type of PPF because it would then scratch with the windscreen wipers. I don't know. Don't know enough about it. Are you planning another drive out soon, Dom Roberts? I'm not, mate, but thanks for coming along to the last couple. That M3 drive out, I can't believe the amount of people that turned up to that. That was absolutely phenomenal. There was 2 guys in brand new McLarens came down from Milton Keynes. Fair play to them. But yeah, that was absolutely phenomenal. And then obviously you put out, so anyone that's watching, Dom, it was his pub we went to for breakfast. And then, yeah, he put on, I think he did like 60, 70 breakfast in the end, which is fantastic. So yeah, I was absolutely blown away. There's a bit in the video you see me pull out. I'd gone out onto the field because I had 4-wheel drive. So I thought, at least I'll go out in the field. Like the amount of cars pulled up and stopped, and there's literally just supercar, like all these cars just well, not just supercars, but I was so grateful to see everyone. There's so many people coming in, and I did get a bit. Someone started chopping onions, I think, in the car, and yeah, it started getting a bit watery-eyed. But I was just so stoked that everyone had come out and everyone had such an amazing time. Then I got out and went up to the main entrance, and literally the queue was down the road. Oh, it was mad. When is the next track day, Tim Williams? Good point. I mean, good question. I don't really know. I was having a discussion with someone the other day, and I've said the same with Dom, who's on there, Alex, all the other guys I go to the Nürburgring with. We always say we'd like to do more track days. We either do Goodwood, which is 10 minutes away, or we go to Spa in the Nürburgring. Because we've said for years, I'd really like to do Cadwell Park. I'd really like to do Alton Park, but they're a bit too far away. And then we go and do Spa, which makes no sense. And not quite as close as Goodwood, but only about an hour and a bit away is Thruxton. Well, I drove up to Thruxton all the way the other day just to go and get a cup of coffee. So why I haven't done a track day there, I have no idea. Haven't done Thruxton. Haven't done Brands Hatch. So they're 2 track days I need to do. Someone said Brands Hatch for more than an evening gets a bit boring because it's like a mile long. But I'd still like to go and do it, maybe for an evening. GP track I'd love to go and do. No, yeah, GP track I'd love to go and do at Brands, but that's quite a bit more expensive. Yeah, who knows? But yeah, if you're doing anything, give me a shout and I'll see if I can make it work. What events are you planning on going to this year, and will you do a drive out to them? Oh, that's Dom chatting with. Oh no, that's Dom chatting with Dom. So Dom the cameraman's chatting with Dom Roberts. On events I'm planning on going to. And again, the Thruxton coffee run did pretty well. Again, maybe make my own like little route that I did like with the M3. Oh, excuse me, getting to the end of my gin now. I would like to get my hands on some more press cars. Excuse me. And then organise maybe another drive out or something. Should have done one with a Lambo, really, shouldn't I? But yeah, I'll keep posted. Keep an eye on socials. Cozy, got to go, bro. Love to see you. Catch up soon. I'll drive down your way. Love you. Love you too, Cozy. Good to have you on here. Brett Barnes, evening. Sorry I was late. I was having tea. Oh, what do your mum make you? Fish, chips and beans. Mate, good to see you. I'll say that about Brett because he looks, I don't know how old you are, but you look about 16, and like, which will go in your favour because then when you're like at my age, you'll still look about 25. But yeah, good to have you on here. Glenn, evening. Hey, hello, mates. You all right? Good to have you on here. Rick, excellent sound, even though I'm a bit late. Have you planned someone to bring your second pint of G&T? I will need a second pint of G&T. Look, we are getting low. It's getting down, although we've been going for an hour and 6 minutes. I don't know how long to go for. Like, everything's all fully charged up, and we keep going until I'm down to like no one. Depends how quick, if I run out of questions or if everyone disappears. Another drive out would be fantastic. Yeah, Phil, that sort of Status Traders, my buddy Phil. Well, he was sort of my buddy. We're like online buddies. You know what it's like with Instagram. You message people and then you meet up and you feel like you've like known them for ages. But yeah, Phil came to my Thruxton drive out a couple of weeks ago in a Saab, was it a Saab 9.3 turbo? And then when I announced I was doing a little drive out to, I was about to say Podium Place, Talk Motor Cafe in Horsham, he turned up in his Caterham 420R, and it's the first ever wide body Caterham that I've been in with the comfy seats, and that is a different class of living in it because I've been in the Caterham, I've been in a narrow Caterham with carbon seats. That's in my size as well. Wide Caterham with wide carbon seats, and a narrow Caterham with the comfy seats. But I think in the narrow Caterham with the comfy seats, like the side bolsters are kind of rounded like outwards, and in Phil's Caterham they were like rounded inwards, more like the carbon bucket seats. Excuse me. So they were definitely a lot more comfortable. And me and Phil are about the same sort of size. What I mean is small and dainty. Honestly, we could both have our like elbows on the center console. Like they're only about, I think they're about 3 or 4 inches wider. But yeah, just a much better space inside. And I remember being with Sir David North on PetrolheadTours in his narrow-bodied Caterham, and I'm literally going like this the whole time to keep my elbow out of his way so that he can change gear. So after doing, what day was I with him? Day 3, day 2, day 3 this year. And my days, we may have taken a bit of a scenic route, and we went to go up this mountain down the other side, and we went to go down the other side, and the flipping road was shut and it was snowed off. And if we had other people with us, we might have attempted it because it didn't look that deep. But if the Caterham got stuck, there's literally no one around. So we then had to turn around and come all the way back again, pretty much back to the hotel. So we were in that car for maybe 10 hours. And I was aching. Thruxton is great. So have you driven Thruxton? I'm not sure. But yeah, if you've seen cars, if you've driven trucks, that'd be cool. Cough, Spudfest. When's it happening? Spudfest. Old Joe's going. Good night, Spuds. If you're good night, Spuds. That's what you said to me. Good night, Joe. If you're still here, mate. What was that? What are we up to? He's 3 minutes. Okay. Yeah, if you're still here, Joe, thanks for coming on, mate. Spudfest. When's it happening? Spudfest. What would you do for Spudfest? Like, come and eat some chips and jacket potatoes? I don't know. Like, do some sort of car meet somewhere. I don't know. Brett, I'm 22. Well, I'm not far away. You don't look much old. Have you started shaving yet? Well, I love Brett. He does some great content, mate. I saw you on your Instagram today. You've like covering your. Well, you get an LS 400. Is that the V8 one? I think that's the same car they had in Street Fighter 2 that you could like smash up or whatever. A lot of people ripping the V8s out of those and putting them in the IS200s I was talking about earlier. Yeah, fair play. He made the paper. If anyone's so Brett Barnes on Instagram, go and check him out. He wrapped his LS 400 with Christmas tree lights and yeah, made the paper. So the ones that you had were like the plug-in ones, which you then had to get an inverter for, which then if you leave them running with the car off, that would kill your battery. Because basically the 3-pin square plug is going to get a bit geeky now as well. You basically, so your car's 12 volts, you then get an inverter, which then takes it up to 240 volts. So you can put 240 plug in, but your Christmas tree lights are only like 12, maybe like 8, 10, 12 volts through the inverter. So you're basically going up to 240 and back to 12, and then that will kill your battery. So the ones on the Christmas tree behind are just on like a little USB plug, and they're the same lights. Actually, so the Christmas tree I bought from Mazda, but the lights I bought for my Civic last year, 2 years ago, can't remember. And then literally run, I think they're like 10 meters or something. They went for miles and literally gone around the whole car. But because they were 12 volt USB, so I wired them directly to the battery so that you could lock the car up and just leave the lights going. And I think I left them on for like 4 or 5 hours. Came back, turned the key, start flick of a key. So yeah, if he used 210 meters and ran out. Well, yeah, because I cheated a little bit, and that still took me about 2 or 3 hours because I went just like followed the kind of contours of the car, kind of went. You got to think because you've still got to be able to open the boot, open the bonnet, open the doors. So I kind of followed the contours of the car like all the way around, and then. Yeah, you've like Brett's actually gone like up and down each like panel. So literally the car is absolutely caked. So yeah, fair play. G-Man, it'd be good to do a meet drive out from the new caffeine machine near Bedford in the year. Yes, it would. Caffeine machine. See, Bedford is still like 3 hours from me. The one near Stratford, wherever that is, that's also it's about the same, maybe a bit more. So yeah, I'd love to go to one. There's potentially a new caffeine machine opening up near Petersfield. I know they bought a pub there, but I think it has been turned down. The trouble is, no one wants like a car meet place near them because you get a couple of bellas who don't speak for everyone in the car community, and you put all your signs up saying please be respectful and don't drive like an idiot. And you're always going to get even the main caffeine machine one. They got all the big signs up, and there was a video of somebody in a 140 or something like that, absolutely lit up, coming out of the car park sideways, all like fishtailing all the way out the road. And I can't remember the clip, but I think he like nearly lost it or nearly crashed into people that are coming in the car park, and stuff like that gets out, and people don't want a car meet pub type place near them. I know the B Road Hunting Club. They did one. And they've moved like 3 times now because you get one idiot who, even if you're marshalling the people coming in and out the car park, half a mile up the road, they're on their own. So you get some idiot half a mile up the road with some pops and bangs remap trying to do some burnouts, and you get one person phone the council and they go, no, that's it, you're not doing that anymore. So yeah, they've moved a bunch of times, and yeah, it's not easy. But yeah, I would like to see the caffeine machine near me. Fun fact, may not know this, Phil, who set up, runs the caffeine machine, came to my wedding. I've known him since uni. No, I'm not old enough to drive. Fruxton was my first time out on track. It's Mega in the M3. Oh, you came out in the Mazda as well. It's just a shame you didn't manage the quite so successful skids in your M3. I'll be honest, a lot of people do fall off there. I'm not taking a mick, but a lot of people do fall off there because, especially on that day that we were there, it was absolutely chucking with rain. That corner is the last corner before the straight. So as people are coming out and you're taking the lock off and start winding the power in, if you then give it the power and it's like an opening corner as well. So you're carrying speed from the middle, it kind of lavents like a double apex right-hander, isn't it? And then as you come through this middle bit, start winding on the power for the straight. If you then give it too much power, it's then easy to swap ends, and then a lot of people disappear off to the right-hand side, I think, like you did. And then you end up reshaping your car. So, mate, you're not the first one to do that, but I'm glad to hear that your M3 is going in the right direction. I'm hoping my GTS sale soon, and then it's a GT3 for me. Oh, yes. And the prices are still dropping. Proper buyer's market at the moment. Yeah. Do you reckon that they would do a straight swap for an MX-5? Do you reckon I could swap an MX-5 into a GT3? One careful owner may have had some bit of welding done. Looking forward to more content. Thanks for your fresh approach to video making. See ya. Thank you, Bryce Brown. I don't know what my fresh approach is. It's just me being me. But thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching, subscribing. It all helps. To 8 to 9 hours to put all those lights on Brett's car. Wow. Yeah, I can imagine, because it took me about 3-ish, and I had help from the kids as well, much to their disappointment. They only work with the ignition on, but I always keep the engine running. Oh, I bet that's nice and cheap as well with the V8 going. But V8, so effectively you've got a V8 Christmas tree. That sounds like a win to me. Talk Motor Cafe have also got lots of signs plastered on the exit road. It's a shame. Yeah, is what it is. The beauty of Talk Motor Cafe as well, and the same with Caffeine Machine to a point, whatever it is there's not loads of houses around it. So you've got to be doing something really stupid in order to get some sort of like planning council thing or whatever. Shame that some people drive like numpties, not that they have the signs. Yeah, you're going to get it. People turn up, they'd show off. You're going to get it. So it is what it is. I think it's too much testosterone. I'd say it as well when I work at Goodwood on the skid pan. You got like, it's more about kind of feel and finesse the skid pan, and the guys turn up to Goodwood and they got all this testosterone and they've watched too much Top Gear, and the same with these car meets and stuff. They turn up and there's cars going and testosterone's going, and then they've tried a bit too hard and they like maybe try something they don't normally do, and then that's when it goes wrong. A bit showing off. Got a typical guy thing in it. We like to show off. It's exactly what happened. The GoPro's running at the time. Yet to see the footage, but I'll probably show you when I do. Yeah, I'd be interested to see that. 9 times out of 10, when someone loses it like that, is they either correct it slightly too late, or when the back comes round, they put an amount of steering to correct it. But if the back keeps coming round, you've got to keep putting more and more lock on. And I'll see it time and time again, and it's difficult to do because when it happens, it's you don't really know what to do, and I'll see loads of people go for the correction and they literally just go there and then stop. But if it keeps coming around, you've got to keep piling the lock on, but don't just keep piling the lock on. Obviously, at the point it then doesn't carry on going round and it starts to straighten up. You then got to get all that lock back off again. It's easier said than done. I've definitely never fallen off on a track day. When I get the GT3, mate, you're welcome to borrow it anytime. Mate, thank you ever so much. That would be awesome. I've also had the same offer from Tom as well, although I have already driven it. It was on the PetrolheadTours, but he said, mate, you'd come up and have a go in his GT3 again. But in the UK, my 2 main problems with that is having driven it fairly swiftly in Spain. I feel like in the UK, it's just going to be a bit of a letdown because obviously the roads are not very good and it's going to be raining and potholing and whatever. Also, he lives about 5 or 6 hours away from me. So I will get up there one day. He keeps saying to come up, but I will get up there. I can't remember where you are. But yeah, definitely, mate. Mate, those GT3s are just so good, aren't they? But yeah, they're mega. Right, we've been going for an hour and 20. We've still got 14 people watching, and I've run out of questions. And because I have now run out of gin, I'm going to call it. I am in Cambridge. Oh, okay, so like 2 hours from me, so it's not too bad. Yeah, keep us posted, mate. I'll come and have a go in your GT3. Don't get an offer like that every day. Guys, thank you ever so much for watching. I've had loads of questions coming through on my phone as well. I'll answer them in a minute. Thank you ever so much for watching. I might do another one of these, maybe like a couple of months' time, or maybe like sooner. I don't really know. I've really enjoyed chatting to you guys and answering your questions. If you'd like some more, give me a cheers, Rick. Well done. Thank you, mate. Mate, rambling for an hour and 20 by myself. Honestly, I couldn't have done it without you guys keeping the questions flowing. Thank you ever so much indeed. I am going to go and have some tea. I haven't had tea yet either. Although since I've been here, I haven't been eating that much. Although you can't really tell. Look at the size of this. I've got one of those like weird cameras that it just makes my face look really wider than it is. My face isn't actually this wide. So yeah, mate, guys have a really good rest of your Christmas. Keep an eye on the social next week because I'm doing my little road trip with my buddy and his Turbo S. So Turbo S content coming next week. If the people that are still watching this think that I've said something that I shouldn't have done, or I've dropped some massive clanger, please let us know because I'm like gin and rambling and whatever. But I've tried to keep it fairly going. Nice one, many thanks. Fantastic live chat. How about making it a monthly event? Really? Do people want to tune in, listen to me ramble every month? The trouble is, I've set up. Go and have a look at my Instagram. I'll put up a picture of what I've set up here. I've got a laptop sat on an ironing board. I've got a plug socket thing here with all the lights and stuff in. I've got a ring light here, floodlight here, another floodlight up here. It's like about a half-hour setup. But if you guys want it, then fill your boots. But yeah, I mean, it'd be great. And then it's also a couple of people mentioned doing a podcast. So maybe we'll have to try and look at getting something like that started in the new year. Anyway, have a good rest of the evening, guys. Enjoy your weekend, Thursday, Friday. Well, I don't even. We're in that period between Christmas and New Year, aren't we? Where nobody really knows what day of the week it is. But I'm going to shoot off. Lots of love, guys. Subscribe if you haven't, and take care.